Welcome to Trial Site News Weekly Roundup. My name is Adrian and I'll be going over some of our top news stories from this past week. Please click the subscribe button and ring that bell to be notified of future videos. This week we start our roundup with cancer-related news stories. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, or the FDA, granted accelerated approval to enfortumab vedotin, made by Astellas Pharma for patients with locally advanced or metastatic urothelial cancer whose disease has progressed on platinum-based chemotherapy and immunotherapy. Now, by targeting the cell adhesion molecule, or Nectin-4, highly expressed in urothelial cancers such as bladder cancers, the drug represents an antibody-drug conjugate, a strategic tool in targeted treatment of cancer. An emerging biotech called ESA Pharma Inc., or EPIX, is developing treatments for prostate cancer that is no longer responding to current therapies. The venture is developing a series of compounds, or antigens, that disrupt the androgen receptor, AR, signaling pathway via a novel mechanisms of action targeting the N-terminal domain, or the NTD, of the AR, as opposed to the ligand-binding domain, or LBD, of the AR, that is targeted by all other AR-directed prostate cancer treatments. A lead preclinical antigen called EPI-7386 has been selected to advance to clinical trials, and the sponsor hopes to file an IND by the first quarter of 2020. Investigators at the University of Pennsylvania School of Medicine suspect that lab-grown brain organoids developed from a patient's own glioblastoma may hold the answers on how best to treat this aggressive and very deadly form of brain cancer. These findings are based on a study with a keen interest in organoids, rapidly becoming an integral part of the drug discovery process. Turning now to Alzheimer-related news stories. GV971, developed in China from a collaboration including Ocean University of China, Shanghai Green Valley Pharmaceutical Company, and Chinese Academy of Sciences Institute of Materia Medica, was recently the first approved Alzheimer's disease drug in many years. Now, the drug is available in direct-to-patient or DTP pharmacies across China. Based on the recent National Medical Products Administration approval of the seaweed-based drug, it purports to improve cognizant ability in patients suffering mild to moderate Alzheimer's disease by regulating bacteria in the gut. University of California, San Diego School of Medicine and Veterans Affairs San Diego Healthcare System researchers report discovering that the accumulation of amyloid, the abnormal protein linked to neurodegenerative conditions such as Alzheimer's disease, actually occurs faster among persons deemed to have objectively defined subtle cognitive difficulties, more so than among those persons deemed cognitively normal. This offers the research community a prospect of a new early biomarker, all the result of the ongoing Alzheimer's disease neuroimaging initiative. Turning now to clinical trials-related news stories. Sponsors that are planning central nervous system-focused clinical studies with diverse patient participation in California should consider CITrials, a Southern California-based clinical research site. CITrials conducts full service on behalf of a myriad of clinical trial sponsors, such as biopharmaceutical companies and contract research organizations, or CROs. The investigational site promotes its diverse breadth of therapeutical experience with an emphasis on central nervous system studies. More than 200 vials of blood samples collected long ago before ethical principles related to informed consent represented the norm were returned to the Australian Indigenous Galawinku community that resides near the northern coast of Australia. American biotech Amgen has purchased a 20.5% stake in oncology biotech venture Beijing of approximately $2.8 billion to support the expansion of its oncology footprint in China. North Carolina biotech entrepreneur Adnan at Oasis Investment Group will develop a $425 million research park on 80 acres of newly annexed land in High Point. This development represents a new model of clinical research where a confluence of infrastructure, employment center, and life science, including clinical trials, focused investment comes together for a powerful contribution to local, regional, and national entities. A breakthrough gene therapy has enabled British medics to sustainably treat the most serious form of hemophilia. Patients that used to need to visit the hospital at least 3 times per week and were in constant mortal risks from even small cuts are now able to live regular lives based on the results of this multi-site UK study for the investigational gene therapy known as BMN 270. It is possible, experts convey, that this therapy could lead to a cure. The study results were recently published in the New England Journal of Medicine. Now, the study sponsor, Biobank, is filing a BLA with the FDA for approval. This could change how hemophilia is treated. Neuroscientists from Northwell Health Institute and the Feinstein Institutes for Medical Research are examining a couple of strategies for monitoring and treating patients with severe traumatic brain injuries in a Phase 3 clinical trial at North Shore University Hospital, or NSUH, a Level 1 trauma center. This imminent study follows a successful Phase 2 study, and we'll keep you posted on this story as it continues to develop. Turning now to HIV-related news stories. Investigators from Nebraska Medical Center and Temple University, through a combination of drugs and novel gene editing therapy, successfully eliminated the HIV virus in living animals for the very first time this past summer. As it turns out, a New York transplant in 1992 planted the seed in a rich, fertile Nebraska research ecosystem, leading to a worldwide research hub to grow and prosper. And now we turn to AI-related news stories. According to Dr. Irving Kent Lowe, a chief medical officer and co-founder of Informatica, an artificial intelligence in healthcare company focused on clinical decision support, the future of healthcare is headed for vast changes in the next decade. And now for arthritis-related news stories. A Chinese Ankylosing Spondylitis patient in China represents the first dosed patient in a Phase 3 clinical trial testing SCB-808, a potential biosimilar of Enbrel, being developed for the treatment of rheumatic diseases in that country. The study is being led by Feng Huang, MD of Beijing 301 Hospital. Ankylosing spondylitis and other rheumatic diseases continue to represent a high unmet need in China. Consequently, a majority of patients are severely undertreated. Now, moreover, the lack of an affordable, high-quality, and convenient biologic treatment presents major hurdles to a wide patient adoption, compliance, and care. Do you have any clinical news you'd like us to report on? If so, let us know. Contact information is in the box below. If you'd like to watch more videos, you can click on the playlists here. Thank you for joining us for this week's Trial Site News Roundup, and remember, subscribe and ring that bell to be notified of updates. We'll see you next time.